Joining us from Philadelphia, Professor Jeremy Siegal. He's professor of finance at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, one of the world's leading authorities on financial markets. Professor, good to see you again. Robert Kuttner, co-editor of American Prospect and the author of the important book, The Squandering of America. Robert, good to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Let me start with you, if I may, Professor Siegal. A 3/4 of a point cut by the Fed, a surprise cut, although there are a number of wags who said that they were too late with this move. I think it's probably the first thing, in my opinion, that the Fed has done right for some time. What's your thought?
This was a very good thing. It surprised me. I was rooting for 3/4 of a point in the regular meeting next week. It came early. Right. It is a good move for the economy, absolutely.
And Robert, Kuttner, your thoughts?
The problem is it won't fix what's broken. You've got all these structural problems with bank balance sheets because the banks sponsored this orgy of speculative lending and they've lost tens of billions of dollars. A balance sheet is a balance sheet. The idea that Citigroup can have something that's off balance sheet. If you and I apply for a loan and we say to the creditor, well, some of my stuff is off balance sheet, I didn't tell you about that, we'd go to jail. This is smacks of Enron, and the damage from all this stuff is going to cascade onto the rest of the economy.
Robert Kuttner is referring to the collateralized debt obligations, more securitized debt, the misapplication of which, Professor Siegal, we have seen the ramifications for just about 30 years in this country. Why in the world aren't the regulators in this marketplace, why aren't they regulating these institutions, and why in the world is this government and both political parties permitting this kind of unadulterated, unfettered capitalism to rape this country?
Well, certainly we had too much lending, mostly against housing, and a case can be made. The Greenspan sat back without saying anything, saying, oh, the markets will take care of it, the world markets will take care of it, and ignoring it. There can be a case made on that, given what it is.
Where are the free marketeers now? Where are these faith-based economists who said, just let Mr. Market smile and everything will be fine?
Well, they look like damn fools, as they ought to. And we've had foxes in chicken coops for 30 years, often under Republicans, sometimes under Democrats. We've had regulators who didn't believe in protecting the consumer.
And we talk about the structural issues here. Lord knows we need the stimulative package because we have people in this country hurting. And to the degree that this president and this Democratic leadership in Congress move money in direct form, and I frankly don't care what form it takes, so long as it gets to the families and the men and women who need this money to stimulate the economy, that's all well and good. But what are we going to do about the failure to regulate? What are we going to do about the massive debt that has been run up here? And when are we going to see these presidential candidates, Professor Siegal, if I may start with you, when are we going to see them start addressing the real issues? A debtor nation in perpetuity, is that what we're to be?
Lou, I think we also have to keep some perspective. No one ever said that the Fed or the regulators can prevent the business cycle, that we've conquered it. If you look at the last 15 or 20 years, we had a mild recession after 9/11. We're still not in a recession yet. We may or may not go in. Right. The previous one was 10 years before that. What I'm saying is if we live in a capitalist society, we have to accept some fluctuations. Yes, there will be excesses, but the alternative of government control squelches entrepreneurship and originality. You have a balance there, and you can't just say, capitalism unfettered is the worst thing for our society.
This is not about the business cycle. This is about the regulators throwing away the rule book and virtually inviting subprime lenders to make 100% loans to people with bad credit histories. Congress passed a law in 1994, the Home Equity Protection Act, prohibiting this, and Greenspan refused to issue regulations. He was an enabler of this.
An absolute enabler. And Professor Siegal, let's come back, and we're going to talk about these so-called free markets and their role in our country's history and how far we've gotten for both our history and our national values. Professor Siegal and Robert Kuttner will be joining us in the next hour as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much.